In a world dominated by screens and virtual lives, an ancient shadow subtly influences our everyday lives. It's not about ghosts or monsters, but about the cunning presence of Satan. People become obsessed with appearing perfect, showcasing filtered lives that fuel envy and desire. Behind this facade lies emptiness, as no filter can mask the dissatisfaction. Vanity rules in selfies and polished posts, with the virtual reflection always falling short of being enough. In this context, the story of Lucifer stands as one of the most dramatic and pivotal events in Christian theology and religious and literary history, symbolizing the origin of evil and the ongoing battle between good and evil. Today, we're going to narrate a tale as old as time itself, a story of rebellion, pride, and a cosmic fall from grace. Yes, we're talking about Lucifer's fall from heaven and his transformation into Satan, dragging a third of the angels down with him. Meanwhile, give us a few seconds to thank everyone who has subscribed, liked, and shared our videos. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and hit the notification bell to stay updated and help us grow even more. Now, let's begin. Lucifer's fall from paradise began with pride, which took root in his heart. Enchanted by his own voice, he craved worship not to serve, but to be served. He questioned why he should bow, and his seductive whisper spread like a dark veil, challenging the dawn. His desire was not just for recognition, but to rival the Creator, seeking to take the throne of light and rule the infinite. Vanity, a twin sister to pride, wove its own plot as Lucifer fell in love with his own image, delighting in his beauty and longing for all divine attention to focus on him. This obsession turned admiration into envy, respect into a desire for possession. The power of persuasion, subtle and dangerous, became his most potent weapon. Furthermore, Lucifer, with sweet words and promises of glory, seduced a third of the angels by sowing doubts where certainty once reigned. He painted a picture of a new kingdom where angels wouldn't be servants, but lords, able to ascend to unimaginable heights under his banner, not gods. This promise of pride, vanity, and power created a tangled web of deception, leading to a dramatic downfall. Lucifer's fall was not a mere stumble, but a dizzying plunge into the shadows, an abyss he created with his excessive ambition. The brightest light in heaven became the darkest shadow, serving as an eternal reminder that even the purest can fall, and the desire to transcend our limits can lead to losing everything. The story of Lucifer's fall, found in Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Revelation, describes how the brightest angel, once a bearer of light, was cast out of heaven after trying to take God's place. This rebellion led to his transformation into Satan, the Lord of Shadows. His tale serves as a potent reminder of the fine line between light and darkness. It illustrates how excessive pride and ambition can result in a profound fall. Over the centuries, this tale has continued to fascinate and warn us about the consequences of pride and ambition. Lucifer, often referred to as the morning star or light bearer, was originally a being of unparalleled beauty, wisdom, and glory. He held a position of high honor among the celestial beings, admired and revered in the heavenly realms. His radiance was so great that it outshone even the stars, making him a symbol of divine splendor. Imagine Lucifer, the morning star, standing in a realm of breathtaking beauty where the light is pure and celestial. He is adorned in radiant garments that shimmer like 1,000 stars, his wings outstretched and glowing with an ethereal brilliance. His face, once serene and full of grace, now shows the first signs of a deep internal conflict. His eyes, once clear and focused on the divine, now carry a hint of something darker, an emerging pride. It's subtle, like the first whisper of a storm, but it's there. His expression is thoughtful, almost contemplative, as he begins to question his place in the universe. The faintest trace of a frown touches his brow, as if the weight of his thoughts is starting to cast a shadow over his once luminous countenance. Behind him, the vast expanse of heaven stretches out, with soft golden light filtering through clouds of divine glory. The stars, which once seemed to bow before his radiance, now seem distant, as if sensing the change within him. A shadow, faint at first but unmistakable, begins to form around Lucifer, symbolizing the birth of his inner struggle and the dark path that lies ahead. The scene is filled with a sense of impending tragedy, as the brightest light in the heavens begins to dim, not by an external force, but by the seed of pride growing within him. This moment captures the essence of his tragic transformation, from the most glorious of all beings to the one who would eventually fall into the darkest depths. As the saying goes, pride comes before a fall. Lucifer began to admire himself a bit too much. He thought, "I'm outstanding. Why should God be the focus of admiration? I've got it all. Why should God receive all the praise?" This pride sowed the seeds of rebellion in his heart. The most commonly cited biblical passage regarding Lucifer's fall is found in Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15, NIV. "How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, 'I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High.' But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit." This passage is often interpreted as describing the fall of a proud and powerful being who sought to elevate himself to the level of God, only to be cast down as a result of his pride and rebellion. In Christian tradition, this fallen being, Lucifer, is identified with Satan, the adversary of God and the embodiment of evil. The connection between Lucifer and Satan is not explicitly made in the Bible, but is inferred from various passages. The idea that Lucifer was once a high-ranking angel, possibly the greatest of all angels, comes from interpretations of other biblical passages. For example, Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17 describes the fall of the king of Tyre with language that some believe alludes to Lucifer's former glory and his fall due to pride. "Son of man, take up a lament concerning the king of Tyre and say to him, 'This is what the sovereign Lord says. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you. Ruby, topaz and emerald, chrysolite, onyx and jasper, sapphire, turquoise and beryl. Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. Through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings." Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17, NIV. The passage describes a once perfect and beautiful being. This figure is often interpreted as a high-ranking angel or symbolic figure like Lucifer. Adorned with precious stones, he held a prestigious role as a guardian cherub. Despite this exalted status, pride and corruption emerged, leading to his downfall. His heart became proud due to his beauty, and his wisdom was tainted by his splendor. This led to his expulsion from the divine presence and a dramatic fall to earth. The passage highlights the themes of pride, corruption, and divine judgment. In the book of Revelation, Archangel Michael is depicted as the leader of the heavenly armies in a climactic battle against the dragon, which is interpreted as Satan. The passage is a vivid and symbolic portrayal of the ultimate cosmic struggle between good and evil. Revelation 12, verses 7 to 9 state, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him." This passage is often interpreted as describing the rebellion of Lucifer, who became Satan, and his angels against God, resulting in their expulsion from heaven. The imagery of the dragon and his angels being cast down to the earth symbolizes their fall from grace and their confinement to the earthly realm, away from the divine presence. The third of the stars mentioned earlier in Revelation 12, verse 4, refers to the angels who joined Lucifer in his rebellion and were subsequently cast out of heaven along with him. This passage is significant in understanding the origin of Satan and the spiritual warfare depicted in biblical narratives. After being cast out of heaven, Lucifer is no longer the light-bearer, but becomes Satan, the adversary. The name Satan comes from the Hebrew word shaitan, meaning accuser or adversary. This transformation marks a fundamental change in Lucifer's role and identity, from a glorious being of light to the embodiment of evil and opposition to God. Satan's role in the Bible is that of the tempter and deceiver, beginning with his appearance in the Garden of Eden as the serpent who tempts Eve to sin, Genesis 3. Throughout the scriptures, Satan is depicted as the one who seeks to thwart God's plans and lead humanity astray. Lucifer's fall is often understood as a cautionary tale about the dangers of pride and the consequences of rebelling against God. It is also seen as the origin of evil in the world, with Satan embodying all that opposes God's goodness. The fallen angels, often referred to as demons, are seen as the forces of evil that work under Satan to corrupt and destroy. The significance of Lucifer's fall lies in its ability to speak to us on multiple levels. It's not just a religious story, it's a narrative that touches on universal themes of pride, ambition, morality, and the struggle between good and evil. Its influence on culture shows how deeply it resonates with our understanding of human nature and the world around us. The story of Lucifer's fall has inspired countless works of literature, art, and theology. One of the most famous depictions is in John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost, where Lucifer is portrayed as a tragic, heroic figure who famously declares, "Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven." This portrayal has shaped much of the modern understanding of Lucifer as a complex and multifaceted character. Therefore, Lucifer's fall from heaven and his transformation into Satan is a rich and complex narrative that has played a central role in Christian thought. It serves as both a theological explanation for the existence of evil and a powerful story about the consequences of pride and rebellion. The blending of biblical texts with later interpretations has created a narrative that continues to captivate and inspire reflection on the nature of good, evil, and the eternal struggle between them. And that concludes today's episode. We sincerely appreciate your presence. If you enjoyed our content, please consider hitting the like button, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to our channel. Thank you for your support.